Hey, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel IT Tech Stacks. This is Amar Gajare, your cloud instructor. So guys, so far we have learned multiple Google Cloud services and their advantages, lab exercises. So in this module or this video, we are going to see what all frequently asked questions in Associate Cloud Engineer Certification exam. There are plenty of materials available in the market or in the Google or in the multiple learning portals. But in this video, I am going to explain you a few important topics or modules you should be prepared or have knowledge, have hands-on knowledge before going or attempting for an exam. Okay, apart from the module names, I am going to give some sample questions which are frequently asked in these kinds of associate cloud engineer exam. Okay, so let's begin with our video. Okay, so you wanna crack Associate Cloud Engineer Certification exam? If yes, then you are at the right place. So there are multiple modules which you should be aware of before attempting for an exam. Those are module 1, setting up a cloud solution environment, which we discussed in our previous videos. You should go through all those things. And module 2, planning and configuring cloud solution. Module 3, deploying and implementing cloud solutions. Module 4, setting up a cloud solution environment. Module 5, which we discussed earlier, is ensuring successful operation of a cloud solution. And the final module which we discussed in the past is configuring access and security. Okay, these 6 modules you should be aware before you attempt for this exam. So let's begin with the module 1, which is setting up a cloud solution environment. So this video contains all the question and answers related to this module. Okay, so let's begin with the first question related to setting up a cloud solution environment. So question number 1. Amar is a new member of a team in your company who has been put in charge of monitoring virtual machine instances in the organization. Amar will need the required permissions to perform this role. How should you grant him those permissions? And your options are: A. Assign Amar a role /compute.viewer role, or option B. Assign Amar compute.instance.get permissions on all the projects he needs to monitor, or option C. Add him to the Google group in your organization, bind that group roles compute.viewer, assign the viewer policy to Amar. Your 10 second starts now. You will get 10 seconds to answer this. Okay, and the correct answer is add Amar to the Google group in your organization, bind that group to roles compute.viewer. Okay, so this one we have learned in our identity and access management. Okay, so we have learned this, how to set up a different roles in the identity and access manager. So you can recall these things what we discussed. Okay, so if you can't recall, then I will give you a summary what we discussed. Okay, so before we begin, I would like to go back to the previous slide. Okay, so first option, if you have selected, then it's an incorrect option. You should not assign role to an individual users. Okay, users should be added to groups, and groups assigned role to simply permissions management. Okay, if you have selected option B, then it's also incorrect option. Roles are combinations of individual permissions. You should assign roles, not individual permissions, to users. Okay, and the C options we discussed, this is correct, and the best practice is to manage role assignment by groups. If any new team member joins in your project, add him or her to a specific group which he or she is supposed to have accesses. Okay, not by individual users. And if you have selected option D, which is also incorrect, because a policy is a binding that is created when you associate a user with a role. Policies are not assigned to a user. I hope that clarifies. And the same we discussed in our past videos. Okay. Okay, so just to summarize what we discussed in our past videos of IAM, you assign members to roles through an IAM policy. Okay, that's why we use IAM. IAM is called as Identity and Access Management. Okay, so roles are combination of permissions needed for a role. Members can be a Google account, or it can be a service account, or a Google group, or a Google workspace domain, okay, or a cloud identity domain, or all authenticated users and all other users. A service account is an account for an application instead of an end users. Okay, so if you want any applications to interact with each other, then instead of giving access or roles to a specific user, you can give access to a specific service account. Okay, so hope you can recall what we discussed. Okay, so in short, IAM lets you administer or authorize who can take action on a specific resources. An IAM policy has a who part, as you can see here. Who part, who can take, who can do what, and can do what. Okay, and it's also having on which resource part. So these so these three parts are important while you are dealing with the IAM policies or Identity Access Management policies. Okay, so if that clarifies, then we can move to the next question. Okay, so your next question is question number 2. How are resources hierarchies are organized in the Google Cloud? Option A, organization, project, resources and folder, or option B, organization, folder, project, resources, or option C, project, organization, folder, resources, or option D, resources, folder, organization and project. So out of these 4 options, which one is the correct option of hierarchy or resource hierarchies organized in the Google Cloud? So you will be getting 10 seconds and your time starts now. The correct option is organization, then followed by folder, then project, and then resources. Okay, so those who have given a correct option or selected B as a correct option, congratulations for them. Okay, just to give you feedback on each answers. Okay, first one is incorrect. Okay, because folders are optional and come in between organizations and project. Okay, so option B is the correct, because organization sits at the top of the Google Cloud resource hierarchy. This can be divided into folders which are optional, and next there are projects you define. Finally, the resources are created under the projects. If you have answered C, it's incorrect, because organization is the highest level of the hierarchy, not the project. Option D, incorrect, because organization is the highest level of hierarchy and followed by the optional folder, project, and then resources. Okay, again D is not a correct option. Okay, so if you can see here, the hierarchy is if you can see the organization hierarchy, our resource hierarchy is first begins with the organization and different projects within the organization. If you can see here, bookshelf, static assets, stream, ingest, and followed by the resources. Okay, so this is how the hierarchy should be. Organization, if you do not have folder, then project, but folder is the optional part. Organization, folder, project, and resources. Resources are the smallest level of resources that are actually used or services used in the GCP. For example, compute engine, app engine, cloud storages, cloud storage pub-subs, BigQuery, all these are the resources. Okay, or you can say services. Okay, so again, who can do what on which resource? That policies can be inherited from organization, project, and resources. Okay. Okay, so just to summarize what we discussed in our past videos, you may find it easier to understand the Google Cloud resource hierarchy from the bottom up approach, as you can see here. But all the resources you use, whether they are virtual machines, cloud storage buckets, tables in the BigQuery, or anything else in the cloud, are organized into projects. Okay, so as I said, bottom up approach. So these are all organized. Okay, these three are organized in one project. Okay. So optionally, these projects may be organized into folders. It's not mandatory that folder should be having, but optionally these projects may be organized into folders. Folders can contain other folders too. All the folders and projects used by your organization can be brought together under the organization node. This is the ultimate node which we use in the hierarchy. So projects, folders, and organization nodes are all places where policies can be defined. Okay, organization, projects, and folders where policies can be defined. Some Google Cloud resources let you put policies on individual resources too. You sometimes there are possibilities that you will apply policies on individual resources. Okay, for example, cloud storage bucket, you can apply individual policies. Okay, so and policies are inherited from downwards in the hierarchy. Okay, policies are inherited in the downwards manner. I hope that is clear for everyone how the hierarchy is. And question number 2. Okay, so let's begin with the question number 3 under the same module. Okay, setting up a cloud solution environment. So we are discussing about setting up a cloud solution environment. So question 3 is what Google Cloud project attributes can be changed? Option A, project ID. Can it be changed? Or option B, project name. Can it be changed? Option C, project number. And option D we have is the project category. So which Google Cloud project attributes can be changed out of these? And you will get 10 seconds to answer this, and your time starts now. Yes, the correct option is project name. Okay, the project name can be changed, whereas the project ID, project number, project category cannot be changed. Okay, the same we discussed in our past videos in the Google Cloud fundamental topic. Okay, so those who answered option A, first of all, it's incorrect. Second thing is project ID is set by the user at creation time but cannot be changed. It must be unique. Okay, those who answered option B, congratulations, it's a correct option. Project name is set by the users at creation, but it does not have to be unique. It can be changed after creation time. Those who answered option C, it's again incorrect option. Project number is an automatically generated unique identifier for a project. It cannot be changed. Those who answered option D is incorrect. Project category is not a valid attribute when setting up a Google Cloud project. First of all, it's not at all an attribute while setting up the project. Okay, so those who have answered project name, congratulations. Okay, so to summarize what we discussed in our past modules or past videos, okay, just to give you brief details, a project is required to use Google Cloud and forms the basic for creating, enabling and using all Google Cloud services, managing APIs, enabling billing, adding and removing collaborators and managing permissions. That's the reason we require a project. In order to interact with the most Google Cloud resources, you must provide the identifying project information for every request. You can identify a project in either of two ways. How do you identify? Either by project ID or through project number. Okay, either of these two you can identify. Project ID is the customized name you choose when you create a project. If you activate an API, okay, that requires a project, you will be directed to create a project or select a project using a project ID. Okay, whereas project number is automatically generated by Google Cloud, so you will not get an option to edit or provide a customized details. So both project ID and project number can be found on the dashboard of a Google Cloud console. Okay. So the initial IAM policy for the newly created project resources grant the owner role to the creator of the project. Whoever created the project will get a owner role. Okay, I hope that clarifies the third question details. So let's begin with the fourth question on our module 1, which is setting up the cloud solution environment. So the fourth question is, okay, so the fourth question is, Amar will manage objects in cloud storage. Okay, for the fairy tale superstores, he needs to have access to the proper permissions for every project across the organization. He need a proper permission for every project across organization. What should you do? Okay, so options are option A, assign Amar roles / storage.object creator on every project, or option B, assign Amar the roles viewer on each project and the roles / storage.object creator for each object or buckets. Option C, assign Amar the roles editor at the organization level, or option D, add Amar to a group that has the roles / storage.object admin role assigned to organization level. So which one is the correct option? Okay, so that he will get the access to the proper permission for every project across the organization. You want every project access across the organization. So your time starts now. Okay, correct option is add Amar to a Google or group that has the roles, storage, objects. Okay, admin role assigned to organization level. Okay, so option D is the correct option. By adding Amar to the group that has the role / storage.object admin role, which will give permissions for every project across the organization. Whoever answered D, congratulations to everyone. Okay, just to give feedback, if you have answered option A, which is incorrect option, okay, so inheritance would be a better way to handle this scenario. Okay, the role storage.object creator role does not give the permission to delete objects. Okay, this option is only to create. It does not give the option to delete objects, which is the essential part of managing them. If you have answered B, which is also incorrect, this role assignment, okay, is at too low of a level to allow to manage objects. Okay, if you have answered option C, that is also incorrect. Roles editor is a basic and would give Amar too many permissions at the project level. Okay, this will give too many permissions. So the D option is the correct option. This would give Amar the right level of access across all projects in your company. Okay. Okay, just to summarize what we discussed in our previous module or previous videos. Okay, resource hierarchy is different from identity and access management. Okay, so identity access management is altogether a different topic, and resource hierarchy is a different topic or different concept altogether. Okay. Identity and access management focuses on who and lets the administrator authorize who can take action on a specific resources based on permission. Organization policy focus on what and lets the administrator set a restriction on specific resources to determine how they can be configured. A constraint is a particular type of restriction against a Google Cloud services or a list of Google Cloud services. Okay. So this is what we discussed in our previous videos. If you haven't gone through my previous video, please go through. Okay, so understand better the resource hierarchy and the IAM part. Okay, so as I said, group your resources according to your organization structure. Levels of hierarchy provides trust boundaries and resource isolation. So this is the organization node which we discussed. This is the folders. Each folder can have multiple folders and it's an optional entity, and within the folders we'll be having projects. Each projects have a single or multiple sets of resources or services of GCP. Okay. Okay, and when organization policy is set on a resource hierarchy node, all descendant of that node inherits the organization policy which was set at the top. Okay. For example, if you set an organization policy at the root organization level, at the company level, then the configuration of restrictions defined by that policy will be passed downwards, okay, through all descendant folders, projects, and then services or resources. Okay. So okay, when a child node inherits organization policy based on list constraints, okay, the inherited policy are merged and reconciled with the node's organization policy. So whatever policies individual policies have and whatever policies inherited get reconciled, okay, in the policy evolutions. Okay, the organization policies that are derived from Boolean constraints do not merge and reconcile policies. If a policy is specified on a resource node, that true or false values is used to determine the effective policy. Okay. Okay, so let's begin with the next question in the same module 1 that we are discussing in this video, setting up a cloud solution environment. So far we have done with the 4 questions which are most important questions, and let's begin with the 5th question. Okay, so the 5th question in the module 1 is you need to add new groups of employees in a fairy tale superstore's production environment. You need to consider Google's recommendation of using least privilege. What should you do? Okay, first one, grant the most restrictive basic role to most services. Grant predefined or custom roles as necessary. Option B, grant predefined and custom roles that provides necessary permissions and grant basic roles only where needed. Or option C, grant least restrictive basic roles to most services and grant predefined and custom roles only when necessary. Option D, grant custom roles to individual users and implement basic roles at the resource level. So which option is correct? Okay. So just to reiterate question, you need to add new groups of employee in a fairy tale superstore production environment, you need to consider Google's best practices or recommendations using least privileges. So you will be having 10 seconds to answer this and your time starts now. Yes, the correct answer is grant predefined and custom rules that provides necessary permissions and grant basic rules only where needed. Okay, so you have to grant a predefined and custom rules. Okay, so those who answered option A, just to give feedback, this is the incorrect answer. Basic rules are too broad and don't provide least privileges. Okay, option B is the correct option. Congratulations. Basic rules are broad and don't use the concept of least privileges. You should grant only the rules that someone needs through predefined and custom rules. This is the correct option. Option C is the incorrect because basic rules apply to project level and do not provide least privileges. Option D is also incorrect because you should see if a predefined rule meets your needs before implementing a custom rules. Okay. So this is the overall summary of applying IAM role, who can do what. Okay, okay, so you can do what? IAM roles, basic, predefined and custom. Okay, the can do part of an IAM policy is defined by a role. Okay, can do is called a role. What kind of role that person or a account must be having. An IAM role is a collection of permissions because most of the time you need more than one permission to do meaningful work. Okay, so for example, to manage virtual machine instances in a project, if you have created any instances or virtual instances or virtual machines in a project, you have to be able to create, delete, start, stop and change virtual machines. So these permissions are grouped together into a role to make them easier to understand and easier to manage. Okay. So there are three types of roles we have in IAM. First one is the basic roles, which includes the owner, editor and viewer role that existed prior to the introduction of the IAM. Predefined roles which provides granular access for a specific service and are managed by Google Cloud. Custom roles which provides granular access according to the user specified list of permissions. So basic roles are like owner, editor and viewer role. And predefined roles bundled selected permissions up into collections that correlated with common job related to business needs. Okay, I hope that clarifies. So we are done with all 5 questions so far under the module 1, setting up the cloud solution environment. So if you have still questions or doubt, so you can go back to my previous videos to understand the fundamentals of Google Cloud services. Okay, so those who have answered correct so far, let's begin with the next question. Let's begin with the next question. Question number 6. Okay, question number 6. The operations department at Fairy Tale Superstore wants to provide managers access to information about VM usage without allowing them to make changes that would affect the state. You assign them the compute engine viewer role. Which two permissions will they receive? If you assign them a compute engine viewer role, which two permissions they receive? Okay, the option A, compute images.list, compute.images.get. Option C, compute.images.create. Option D, compute.images.setIAM. Or option D, compute.images.update. So which two permissions will they receive? And your time starts now. Yes, the correct answer is compute.images.list and compute.images.get. Okay, so when the operation department at Fairy Tales Superstore wants to provide managers access to information about virtual machine usage without allowing them to make changes, okay, that would affect the state, you assign them a compute engine viewer role. Okay, if you assign them a list and get accesses, that will solve the problem. Okay, so the option A and B are correct answer. Those who have answered correctly, congratulations to them. So option A, a viewer can perform read-only actions that do not affect state. Okay, option B also correct. Get is read-only. So get is read-only. Viewer has this permission. Okay, those who answered option C, it's an incorrect option. This permission would change state. Okay, to create permission changes the state. The question here is should not change the or should not affect the state. So you should read the question carefully before attempting to answer. Okay, option D is also incorrect option. Only the owner can set the IAM policy on a service. Okay, only owner can set the IAM policy. Option E is also incorrect. Only editor and above can change the state of an image. Okay, whereas it's the update. So again it changes the state. Hope that clarifies. If you have any doubt, go back to the Cloud Fundamental or Google Cloud Fundamental video to understand more. Okay, so just to summarize, in our past videos we have discussed this, but just to summarize, if you are a viewer on a given resource, you can examine it but not change. Okay, viewer, as the name indicates, viewer, you can only view, you cannot change its state. Okay, if you are an editor, you do everything a viewer can do plus change its state also. Okay, let me show you. Okay, here it is. So summary, what we discussed in our past videos, a viewer can only view access. If you are an editor, okay, you can change the state apart from viewing. Okay, if you are an owner, you can do everything and the editor can do, plus you can manage the roles and permissions on other resources. That's called owner. Okay, so hope that clarifies. We are done with our 6 questions. Okay, so let's begin with the next question in the same module, setting up a cloud solution environment, which is 7th question. Okay, 7th question is, how are billing accounts applied to projects in Google Cloud? You need to pick any two. How are billing accounts applied to projects in a Google Cloud? First option is set up cloud billing to pay for usage costs in a Google Cloud projects and Google Workspace account. Option B, a project and its resources can be tied to more than one billing account. Option C, a billing account can be linked to one or more projects. Option D, a project and its resources can only be tied to one billing account. Option E, if your project only uses free resources, you don't need to link to an active billing account. So which two options are correct one? You need to pick any two options and your time starts now. Yes, option C and option D are both correct options. Okay. Those who answered option C and option D, congratulations to them. Okay, just to give feedback, option A is incorrect because cloud billing does not pay for charges associated with a cloud workspace account. Option B is also incorrect. A project can only be linked to one billing account at a time. Whereas option C and D are correct options. C correct because a billing account can handle billing or more than one project. A project can only be linked to one billing account at a time. Option E is incorrect because even projects using free resources need to be tied to a valid cloud billing account. It cannot be like a project without a billing account. That will never happen. So every project should have a common billing account. Okay. So I hope that clarifies. Okay, just to summarize cloud billing account, which we have learned in the past, in my past videos. Okay, so cloud billing accounts pay for usage cost in Google Cloud projects. Okay, Google Maps platform projects. Google billing accounts do not pay for a Google Workspace accounts. Google Workspace customers need a separate Google Workspace billing account. Okay, so Google billing account pay for usage cost in a Google Cloud projects only. A project and its service level resources are linked to one cloud billing account, as we discussed. Okay, a cloud billing account operates in a single currency. You cannot have multiple currencies in a cloud billing account, and it's a link to a Google payment profile. A cloud billing account can be linked to one or more projects. It can be linked to one or more projects, but can have only one billing account, multiple projects. Okay, so usage costs are tracked by projects and are charged to the linked cloud billing account. The most important part here is the projects that are not linked to an active cloud billing account cannot use Google Cloud or Google Cloud Maps platform services. This is true even if you have only used services that are free. Okay, you should be having a Google billing account. If you want to change the Google Cloud billing account that you are using to pay for a project, that is, link a project to a different cloud billing account, you can see enable, disable or change billing for a project. You can manage your cloud billing accounts using the Google Cloud Console. Okay, so we are done with our 7th questions in the module 1, setting up the cloud solution environment. So if you are stuck somewhere or unable to answer these questions, then it means you are not yet prepared. You have to go back to the Google Cloud fundamentals and start answering these questions again. Okay, so let's begin with our next question on this, question number 8. Okay, so Fiona is the billing administrator for a project associated with a fairy tale superstore e-commerce application. Okay, Amar, the marketing department lead, wants to receive emails related to budget alerts. Okay, so Amar should have access to no additional billing. What should you do? Okay, so Fiona is the administrator. Okay, Amar is a department lead and he wants to receive emails related to budget alerts. But Amar don't want any additional accesses. What you can do in this case? What Fiona can do in this case? Option A, change the budget alert default threshold rules to include Amar as a recipient. Option B, use cloud monitoring notification channels to send Amar an email alert. Option C, add Amar and Fiona to the budget scope custom email delivery dialog. Or option D, send alert to pops up topic that Amar is subscribed to. Okay, so which one is the correct options? Your time starts now. Yes, the correct option is use cloud monitoring notification channel to send Amar an email alert. You can use the monitoring options, cloud monitoring options to send the notifications. You can send the custom notifications, email alerts of all the billing. Okay, so just to give feedback, option A is incorrect options. Those who have answered option A is incorrect. So to add Amar as a recipient to the default alert behavior, you should have to grant him the roles of billing administrator or billing users. The qualifier in the question states he should have no additional access. Okay, whereas the default threshold rule will give the additional access. So Amar need only emails. Okay, he need to receive only emails, no additional billing access. Okay, option B is the correct option. You can set up to 5 cloud monitoring channels to define email recipients that will receive budget alerts. Option C is incorrect. Budget scope defines what is reported in an alert. Option D is incorrect. Pops up is a programmatic use of alert content. Okay. Okay, so just to summarize, okay, what we learned in our past videos about this budget and billing perspective. Just to summarize, to create a new budget, complete the following steps. You have to complete one of the sequence of these steps. Okay, create a name in the budget, set the budget scope, set the budget amount, set the budget threshold rules. So before you say you want to set a budget or create a budget or budget alerts, then you should first create a name of the budget, set the budget scope, what is the budget amount, budget threshold rules and action, and then click the finish to save the new budget. Threshold rules defines the triggering event used to generate the budget notification emails. Means as soon as your budget reaches to that threshold level, it sends the email notification. Okay, note that the threshold rules are required for email notification are used specifically to trigger email notification. Threshold rules are not required for programmatic notifications unless you want your programmatic notifications to include. Okay, email notification settings can be either role based, which sends alerts to billing account administrator and billing account users. This is a default behavior. Or else you can set up a Google Cloud monitoring notification channels to send Google Cloud monitoring notifications to send alerts to email addresses of your choices. Okay, so of your choice. Okay, so far we are done with total 7 questions, I believe, under this module. So no, we have completed all 8 questions under the module 1, which is setting up the cloud solution environment. Okay, so those who are facing difficulty answering these question answers, then request you to go back to the fundamental, Google Cloud fundamental, prepare, or go back to the topics from the beginning, perform hands-on, then you again come back and answer these questions. Okay, so let's move on with the question number 9. Okay, question number 9. Pick 2 choices that provides a command line interface to Google Cloud. Okay, what all the command line interfaces out of these options? First option is Google Cloud Console, or B, is it a Cloud Shell, or is it a Cloud Mobile App? Option D, or it's a Cloud SDK. Which is the correct options? You have to pick any 2. Option E is REST based API. So your time starts now. You have to choose any 2 correct options. Yes, Cloud Shell and Cloud SDK are the command line interfaces. So those who have answered option B and option D, that's the correct option. Congratulations to you. Just to give feedback, option A is incorrect. The console is a graphical interface. It's a GUI, graphical user interface. It's not a command line interface. Option B is the correct option. Cloud Shell provides a cloud-based command line interface environment, which is also called CLI environment. Option C is incorrect. A cloud mobile app allows you to interact graphically with your Google Cloud resources through an app on your mobile device. Okay. Option D is correct. A Cloud SDK provides a local CLI environment. Option E is incorrect. This interface allows API access through curl command or client-based programming SDKs. Okay, hope that clarifies all your doubts. Okay, just to summarize what we discussed in our past videos about this. Okay. Okay, Cloud SDK and Cloud Shell. Cloud SDK includes command line interface tools for Google Cloud products and services. G-Cloud, GSUtil, Cloud Storage, BQ is for BigQuery. It's available as a Docker image, available via Cloud Shell, containerized version of Cloud SDK running on a compute engine instance. Okay, just to summarize, a Google Cloud Console provides a web-based graphical user interface that you can use to manage your Google Cloud project and resources. Whereas a G-Cloud tool lets you manage development workflow and Google Cloud resources in a terminal window. You can run G-Cloud commands by installing the Cloud SDK, which includes the G-Cloud tools. You use it by opening a terminal window on your own computer. So you don't need to log into your project. You can log in directly through SDK. You can also access G-Cloud command by using a Cloud Shell, a browser-based shell that runs in a cloud. The Cloud Shell, you can find it at the top right corner of Google Cloud Console. Client libraries are also provided by a Cloud SDK. They provide access to APIs for access to services called application APIs, and admin APIs, which allows you to automate resource management tasks. Okay, so hope that clarifies everyone. the same summary we discussed about the Cloud SDK. It's a set of tools that you can use to manage resources applications, okay, hosted on a Google Cloud. This includes gcloud tool, which provides the main command line interface for Google Cloud platform products and services, as well as gsutil and BG. Sorry for the mistake. This is not BG, it's a BQ. Okay, when installed all the tools within the Cloud SDK. Okay. Okay, so let's move on to the next question under the same module, setting up a cloud solution environment. Okay, so hi guys, I have corrected this spelling mistake. It was a BQ. Okay, so cloud, regarding Cloud Shell, it's a temporary compute engine virtual machine instance running in a Debian based Linux operating system, which we discussed in our previous video, and it's also a command line access to the instance from web browser using terminal windows in a Google console. At the top right corner you can see Cloud Shell button, and Cloud Shell is a 5 GB of persistent disk storage per user mounted as your home directory in a Cloud Shell sessions across the project and instances. A Cloud SDK and other tools are pre-installed on the compute engine instances. Okay, and the languages that supports includes SDKs, libraries, runtime environment, and compilers for Java, Go, Python, Node.js, PHP, and Ruby. Okay, so let's move on to the next question number 10. So you want to use the Cloud Shell to copy files to your cloud storage buckets. Which Cloud SDK command you should use? Okay, and your options are gcloud, and option B, is it a gsutil? Option C, is it a BQ? Or option D, it's a cloud storage browser. And your time starts now. Yes, the correct option is gsutil command, okay, which is used to copy files to your cloud storage buckets. Okay, so just to give feedback, option A is the incorrect option because gcloud provides tools for interacting with resources and services in the Cloud SDK. Okay, whereas option B is the correct option, gsutil to interact the cloud storage via the Cloud SDK. Option C is incorrect because a BQ is a way to submit queries to BigQuery. D is incorrect again. Cloud storage browser is a part of Google Cloud Console, not the command line interface based. So those who answered on option B, congratulations, and those who answered other than B, I request you to go back to the Cloud Fundamental Core Infrastructure topic, which we discussed in our previous video, to understand in depth, and then come again and answer these questions. Okay, so let's move on, and just to summarize what we discussed in our past videos, I don't want to go in depth. gcloud is a default gcloud command line interface command tool for interacting with the Google Cloud. It's the only command at the general availability and preview release level are installed with the component. You must separately install the gcloud alpha command and gcloud beta command components if you want to use the commands at other release levels. The BQ BQ is the BigQuery command line tool for working with data in the BigQuery. Okay, GSUtil is the Google storage command line tool for performing tasks related to Google Cloud Storage. Okay, I hope that clarifies or summarize what we discussed regarding the storage options. So here we are done with the module 1, setting up a cloud solution environment. Okay, so as I said, there are 6 modules we should be aware of before attempting to a Google Cloud certification exam. So in my next video I will give some important Q&As, which is question and answers about module 2, which you should be aware of before appearing for an exam. Okay, so let's wait for my next module, which is module 2. Okay, which is module 2. Okay, so module 2 is a planning and configuring cloud solution. Okay, so we are done with the module 1, so we can meet. Till then, have a nice day. Keep watching my videos. Please subscribe and like my videos. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Bye.